Okay, hello, welcome to this dev stream. So today I want to do something very specific. So I will show my game and I will explain what I want to do. So in this game we have this rocket here and you can talk to it, blah blah blah, and it says things to you. Then you jump into the rocket and then you fly away. Now what happens here is a little sequence where, well, you will see what happens. There's this little funny sequence and the rocket goes up and turns a bit and then goes like this. So the main thing I want to do today is when the rocket starts here in this green area and comes out like this, I want it to follow a nice curve. I've currently sort of made these using code, and you see it ends in the wrong place, and yeah, everything is wrong with it. I was able to sort of get it working with code, so essentially just, adjusting the speed and sort of trying to move it towards a certain point and stuff. But then I realized I should just make a small tool for having like a curve instead to move the rocket along. So that's what I will be doing today, and like slightly different from previous streams, of course. Some streams before I have I've had something to demo. Today it's just a pure dev stream. So what I want to happen is that this is sort of the editor here. This is the second level of the game. It's barely started, you see. You come out here and this, whatever. But I want to fix this curve first. So I want to be able to place some kind of entity that represents a curve, and then I want to be able to sort of edit the properties of that entity and sort of place control points and stuff. And I guess this is supposed to be some kind of Bezier curve or something. So I will have to do a bit research here live and everything. So it's just all the things. But yeah, let's start by, I'm gonna start by trying to add a new entity type that I can place here, because I think I want sort of an entity type that I can reference on the spaceship when the spaceship comes out of here, so it knows like, okay, I'm gonna start here and then it's gonna go like this, and we'll see, and then the spaceship will follow that curve. Of course, the way it follows it is not necessarily the way it needs to, like, the facing of it. So it might go like this, but maybe it should not face in the direction of the curve of the tangent. Maybe it's something else. We'll see. Yeah. Anyways, so I will try to do that. So we'll need to start off by adding a new entity type, and I have a couple of different ways to do that. Well, more like one way to do that. So in my game, I have this thing called entity type built-in variant. This is not the best name, but these are essentially all the entity types that are defined in code. I define them in code. There are some entity types that you can make inside this editor, but those are mainly for like graphics, like it's like small animated things. But anything that needs complicated code, you define it from code, and it has a name in the code using this enum and everything. So it's easy to, like, the code is very authoritative, which I like. I made very nice coffee, I can say. Okay, so let's just call this one curve. So the entity type built-in variant, we add one called curve. We compile and we'll see where do we need to fix things in order to make this work. Okay, so we need to add it to this switch here. Now I'm just adding an empty entity type that won't do really anything. This is if we look in the this is one of the levels, and there's two ways, like I said, to define entities in the game. One way is using this entity type editor, where you can define like simple things like static objects and some animated stuff like this. But things that want very custom script behavior, you define in code as built-in entity types. And what this function here does, it maps this enum to a name. I could, I guess, just write the enum, but yeah, I could use stringify the enum name, but I've done it like that. And that's because when you place them in the level later, for example, if you look at this, we go to the first level again. This is the first level. You see there's the squirrel here and the cat and the rocket and stuff. And these these can be placed in editor, but they're defined in code. So the way this works is that this just hashes this string. So string to UID cat will return a number here, which is a which I call a like a UI universal ID. It's probably this one, maybe. I don't know. I don't have a tool to sort of do a reverse lookup yet, but anyways. So that's for the curve. We have added a string to UID. This is, see here, this function, get entity type placeholder texture. This is the, when you're in the edit mode, it's actually not the same texture. It doesn't use like the first frame of the animation. Well, it could do that, but anyway, what it shows in the editor for the placeholder for entities is custom. So you just add something here for this when you have a built-in. If you have an animated like the ones that you can define in this tab here, then it does everything automatically. But these are very code driven. Let's see here. Let's just do like this. This is the this one returns two things: the texture it needs to use and the rectangle inside that texture that it should use to show the placeholder in the editor. And in most of these cases, sometimes, like in this case, it divides by 2 here, the width, because this one is actually an animation, and this one as well. This uses the cat's walking animation, the first frame of it. I actually want to change that, I think, because this is the first frame of the walking animation. It would be more reasonable if it was the first frame of the idle animation, maybe. That was the sort of placeholder in the editor, but I will. So that's the curve. We need to make that this PNG doesn't exist even. So we need to go here. Oh, here's my prep before the stream where I made these covers. Let's do like a 8 by 8 pixel thing. Take any old color, purple apparently, and we type a big C like this and this. Yeah. That's not a C. Okay, that's good. Good enough. It's just a little editor thingamajig to see where the curve is when there's no, well, the curve, doesn't have any graphics. It's just a curve. So we have that. Compile again, and I'm just going through here adding some to the different places. One thing, in Odin I use this switch on. This is the entity type, and this is the variant of the entity type, and then I switch on that. And this is, of course, this is the variant is a union of these. So I like using those switches a lot. So you can, like, within this case, the value of v will be that union variant. However, where was I going with this? Wait. Oh yeah. So what you can do is use partial switch. So you can put in front of a partial, so you don't have to implement all the cases all the time. Actually, I don't like doing that because then you can't sort of use the compiler. You can't just add something to a union or something and then go through all the compilation errors. So I prefer to, like, even though this case has well, even in cases where maybe I only use 2 of the different variations and the rest is just doesn't do anything, I just spell it out because then at least I can easily add stuff. Then this is for placing it. This is the normal placement code. This just creates an entity of the type at a position. So this is my code that this is part of the edit mode place entities. And then we have one more switch case, and this is in create entity. Case dot curve, I guess. Okay. However, I don't, let's see, let's bring up another, go to entity. Yeah, so there is entity type, which has a variant where my variant will be built in and it will be curve. And this is sort of for defining the type of it. However, the entity itself, when it's spawned, also needs sort of some runtime data. So that's what you do here. I just will call it curve. And I will say that curve is a struct that contains nothing right now. Now I get more compilation errors because I have more unhandled switch cases. So I just press F4 and go through them. This is some cleanup code that doesn't... I can do this. Because it's only this case that actually does something interesting. The variant here, this is serialized state. This is the function that takes... This is... We will put something here later. Because the curve will, like... There's 2 types of data, right? There's data associated with the type that will be the same for all types. You know, for every entity spawned of that type, will have this access to that data. And then there is also, if your entity has, in the editor, you can do like this. You can click entity properties and you can go around and, example, all layers. You're gonna go around and click stuff, and then you can edit stuff in here. And on some of those, like some triggers, I think I have a trigger over here somewhere. On this one, I can put in a name. This is not very finished, but it's one example of that. Anyways, I need to add like a shift key to go faster with the camera. Oh no, I did a bloop. Yeah, anyways. So back to this. So we will have some data for the instances of curves, but I'll do that later. I just want to get the compiling first. Yeah. Here we might do something different later, but for now we do this. Here we do this. This is the picking rect for clicking inside. For doing this. This function takes care of that. This is entity mode, entity properties, edit mode, entity properties. Okay, this is for editing the properties. Here we will have interesting things later. Spawn world from source state. Source state is the state that the editor edits, right? So source state is like has entity types, entities, and tiles and stuff. And this is what the editor edits. And then when I exit edit mode, it respawns the whole world from this thing. And this is also when you... Where are my line endings? I mean my tabs. There was spaces and tabs mixed. Anyways, so this is the thing that when you deserialize the sort of whole state from disk, deserialize state, it returns a source state. from a serialized state. And the serialized state is just whatever came out of the deserializer that brought stuff in from disk and stuff. Anyways, let's go on here. What is this? Play mode update. So this is custom script behavior. We just go to the bottom here, say case curve, do nothing for now. Draw world, this custom draw code for all the types, curve. Okay, now it will. Oh, I didn't implement this one. What is this? Spawn world from source state. Yeah, I just talked here, but I didn't do anything. Case curve. So now we will have. Yeah, if we reset the whole game and go here, is it? Wait. Am I missing something? There's the curve. Is it this one? Why don't you have the graphics on there? Let's look in the placeholder. Oh, it's in editor. So recently I split up my game into like actually gonna close some tabs. Close other tabs. We can reopen them. I split my game up into like an editor and a game file because I had everything in a giant text file and was getting a bit big with thousands of lines. So I know what's wrong. So this one runs get texture by name, which assumes that the texture is loaded. So I just need to do this at the start. Curve.png. There you go. There's the C. And now I can probably I can't place this because yeah, I know why. Because in edit mode place entities. I don't think I did anything in create, the one called create entity. This one doesn't do anything yet. Nope. So this one needs to do like C e.variant equals curve empty. Now it will work. Yes. And now I think I can click these and now I see their properties here. Okay, so that's now we have something like that. The position of this entity really doesn't matter much because what matters here is the points that I will add to it. And that's going to be a whole interesting thing to do because I haven't had any entity before that where you kind of click on it, have some properties, and then can do new things in here. So, because if you click here again, you know, so what I want to do is I go to the curve and then I can put out control points along it so that it's like the points of my curve that my thing can move along. But since if I click here, I might select something else. So I need to have some button here to do like enter the super duper edit mode. And then it does stuff. Right. So let's go to the properties function in the editor. Here's this one. This is what draws things in here. So you see you have like, you select a rocket, it says initial state, and that's just because this one is here. It gives me a little drop. Oh, look, I have ordering problems here. I've never tested this before. I know what I need to do. I need to, in my EMGUI, I need to add like a overlay thing. But whatever. So anyways, here's my curve. And like I said, what we want to happen here is when we go to the second level, we can go there again maybe. That's where we actually want to place the curve, to use it for some fun stuff, to use it to guide the rocket to the correct position. I'm just doing this because it was annoying to do this sequence that's happening now by code, and I will have to do similar things in other places. And it's also, right now it's broken and buggy. There, so there it ends up in the wrong place and everything. Well, I think I can press enter and then everything is broken. Yeah. Okay, so we need to have like a push button here that's like edit the curve. I have a push button here. Can we somehow... Yeah, let's go to in the editor memory. No, we have an edit mode entity properties. Yes, so inside this one, I want to have like... This number is just the index of the edit entity. Then I want like something to say that, oh, currently we are editing, and then something crashed. Okay, interesting. Let's see if it happens again. Then I'll connect the debugger if I get a... No, okay, it didn't happen. I'll run into that later. Anyways, so I want a button here that's like, oh, edit path, curve path, whatever. And then I need something to be able to lock the editor into doing just that, so I can't go around and click other things in here. So what we call this is sort of like editing. So you have the edited entity, and this is just sort of a lock. Let's call it what it is. It's just a lock for editing, so I can't change which one is edited right now. Okay, and then we say GUI push button, edit path, and we just do this, cut property row from the side panel. The side panel is the rectangle of this thing. So I can do this. I have a little hotkey here for making things always on top. Oh, that was a bit too tight. Yeah, like that. So this one returns the new state. So it takes, okay, cut side panel. So this one just takes out a whole row from it. And then my problem here is that I use so giant text that I can't see what I'm doing. Ah. And then we say m dot edited lock. So that should add a button. M dot, not an underscore. Yeah, the memory layout changed, so it reset the game to replace this one since it... So now I have my edit path button here. That's good. And it's sort of a push button that I can push and unpush. Okay, and while edit lock is true, I want to disable the picking, which I think is as simple as this code checks what is currently under the cursor. And so I can just do probably like this. If m.edited lock is false, then we do this. And now, even if sample or layer is on, I can click anything. So now, if I click this, then I can click something else. Excellent. Okay, and I guess here now is where my code that sort of where edit the curve goes. I'm just figuring this out as I go. I will probably start with doing sort of a linear, just like it goes from point to point to point, and then it's done. And then I will do the actual Bezier stuff maybe, just to, because the hard stuff here, I mean, but the math for doing the Bezier curve, I don't think it's that hard. The usual stuff that takes time is, doing the tool stuff. Okay. So in the curve, we need a list of points. Right. Points is a dynamic list of vec2 or something. Or something like that. Question here, will I run into any problem with... Usually I don't have dynamically allocated memory inside. Or do I? No, I don't think so. I'll do a fixed array for now. I have to think about that. Num points. It's int. Okay. And then we do like... How do I check if I clicked in the game view? Okay. So down here it draws the whole world. And down here it does touch a... This is... When it's done with drawing this panel, it will do this. Edit mode draw world. What do you do? Yeah, this one is the thing that draws all the things. Let's so this is the function that is always like, should I draw extra stuff here, or should I bake my the visualization of the current edit mode into the draw world function? I'm just gonna bake it into the draw world function, so we'll draw some points there and stuff when we're in the correct. So this is edit mode draw world, and down here it blah 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 blah. It looks at the current edit mode, and it will then do this. Entity properties. If, okay, let's do like this. Does it? That's okay. So we can do like this. If m.edited is not 0, which is the currently edited thing. If this one is not 0, then we can fetch that entity. Do I have the source state here? Yes, okay. Then E is the source state dot entities m edited, and then I say if c OK equals E dot variant curve. So I'm just checking if this is a curve. I think this should work. M dot edited. Not M edited. Then I do that, and then I do like this. For P in C dot points, RL dot draw circle V at P dot P, and I want it, just make it 1 unit big in the radius, and we say RL dot yellow. Of course, nothing works yet because we don't have any points, but that's what I'm gonna do up here. And some kid is screaming. So, if mouse, so we want to check if we're inside this rect. So that's mouse in rect, which is the I use function that sort of split off pieces of the main rect, and what we end up with in the end is this stuff here. Hello, Lucy. Mouse in rect and RL dot this mouse is mouse button pressed dot left. Then I'm just gonna do something funny like this. This is just me trying to get something working here. Then I say like v dot points at v dot num points equals, and then this needs to be a world position, right? Do I have a mouse? How do I usually do that? In place entities, of course, I must have some code that fetches me a okay, it just does this. Maybe I should make a function that is like mouse world position. I think that's useful. So much code. Mouse world position is a proc that takes a camera. It must, that's the only thing, because it has a, it's the only thing it needs. So what this will do, the reason it says lin_alg.floor here is that I try to, like 1 pixel in my game, 1 unit is 1 sort of pixel, and I want things to line up on the grid. When you're walking around the game, the character can walk between pixels, but when I place stuff, I don't want them to get off grid. And here I just say, I think I have a mouse pos, no, rl dot get mouse position, something like that. And then I do world mouse Did I call it mouse world position? Right, I guess that's fine. And then I send in the camera here. rl.camera 2D probably. Oh yeah, of course this doesn't. No, it should return something. It should return a vector 2. Okay, that works. Of course, then I need to do v.num points plus equals 1. And then I can go here and let's check if this code is even reached. Hello. Yeah, it's doing something. Right. Right. And then, so then we scroll back down here. Oh, I know what's wrong. This is me being silly. I should, of course, I mean, I have a sorted renderer thingy going on. So down here is where it actually draws stuff. So I can't just say draw circle V. I need to do like, do I have a renderable circle? Yeah, but do I use that anywhere? That's what I'm saying. Okay, here. I don't think this code runs anymore, but whatever. So I will do like this. So this will add to my render, this rends array, it will add a renderable. And it says it's a circle at this position, and then down here it sorts them all, and then it draws them. So I can sort of don't have to do everything in some silly order. Ah, there we go. Now I can click, and it's all added. And then if I click 116 times, it will explode. Haha. Let's make sure we can clear this somehow. Edit path. Let's make a little button that says if GUI button clear cut property row from side panel. And then we just say v.num point is num pints. Clear. Didn't work. Didn't work. Why didn't it work? I know why. I know why. Draw edit world. Then we have like v.points. It's somewhere here. We have c.points, but this needs to be like for I in 0. I almost never do normal for loops, so I just have to like, how do I do a for loop? And then it's program. This is the Odin demo file. No, it's just they have some cute syntax here. That's what I'm trying to do. For I less than c.num points, p equals c.points pint I. Oh, apparently not. It's a funny one. That was for I see. Isn't there a okay, so I do like this. For I in 0 dash dash less than. Yes, that's how I do it. The other one assumed there was an I declared already. Clear. Now it works. Now it works. Okay. So now this has 1 point there. So I'm just gonna do a silly thing here where I would also like to draw lines between them. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's a bit annoying that I can just say, I want to draw a line. I have to do like a renderable like this. It'd be nice to have like debug drawing. That's always drawn on top of whatever you have in the game already. Let's not worry about that now. I'm gonna check in Raylib if there's a draw line. Wait, one thing I'd need to check in. Maybe Raylib has Bezier support. Bezier, I don't know how to pronounce things. Okay, it can draw the line. So it can do like from this point to this point. But I don't think it has like a function to evaluate them, which is maybe reasonable. Oh well. Yeah, I'm just a bit annoyed here that I need to currently, if I want to draw a line, I need to add it to this stuff here. But let's just do that for now. Renderable line is a struct with start end vec2 and a color that is our color, and we have a renderable line. And then we fix some things. Renderable line, draw a line. And it goes from v.start to v.end with a color. Oh, that's exactly what I have. And then there's another one here. Why are there two? Who are you? Oh yeah, there's one in the world and one in the... I have the separate. I do my drawing separate for the editor because it does simpler things. I can just copy this code. Go here. Okay. So now we can draw lines. So I want to add that just to draw lines between my points. Dun 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 dun. Oh, this was... So then I can do something like this. If I is bigger than 0, I will draw it between myself and the previous one, I think. Then we will do like rev is c.points I minus 1. And then we say, take all this crap again. Yeah, some streams. Maybe I'll do like better debug rendering stuff. The chat likes my toot 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 ding ding ding. Oh, you have to make some noises when doing stuff. It's like Bob Ross says, everything is better when you make a sound while doing it. It starts at previous position and it ends at P. Hey, look, lines. Lines. Okay. Now I just need to save these, because currently there's no serialization of anything here. So I need to make somehow this to save. I need to somehow make this to save. Very, very good English. So we just do this. We go to serialize state function, and we look at curve, and here we say that sce.data, my serialized entity has some data on it, and then we need to define a new serialized entity data. We need to define a new type of serialized entity data. So I have some, this triggers have like a rectangle, and the rocket has an initial state, blob, 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 and then we need to go here and say curve. And this is like, this one can, yeah, I just make a points. Points is a dynamic. Here I can use this, I think, because I have a cleanup function. The reason I used a fixed size array in the other place was that I don't have a way to do like cleanup of my entities, but I have a way to do the cleanup of the serialized entities, I think. Yeah, here. Okay, serialized entity curve. Then it do v dot points. Expected an operand. Where do you expect an operand? Oh, there. Points is. Wait, why? This one does not need to be dynamic, because I won't add anything to it. Is it like, let's see, slice? Yeah, I think I want this function. Slice.clone. And what I want to clone is v. Oh, I can't write. I want to clone v.points, and I want to start at 0 and go all the way up to v.numPoints. I think, let's see if this explodes or not. I'm not sure if this one is inclusive or including or excluding the last one, because if it's excluding it, then I don't need to do a 0 check here, because it will be like from 0 to 0, so it will be an empty list. Yeah. Okay, what's this stuff? Okay, this is where we load the serialized state. Here we say case serialized entity date serialized curve. And here I say v.point. I wonder how can I do like a yeah, let's do something simple here. For p in d.points, if you can use the index here also. If p idx is larger than len of. Wait, what am I doing here? What's. Oh yeah, now I remember. What this code does, this unmarshalates the whole thing from disk. It loads the whole thing from disk. But it does using a temp allocator, and then if there's any dynamically allocate like arrays for strings, then I need to do a copy. So that's all I need to do. D.points equals what's it called? Slice.clone d.points. So this one will, the input here will be allocated using a temp allocator. And it's just so I don't have, because the unmarshalling just allocates lots of memory and stuff. So that's for me the easiest way, is just to do the unmarshalling here with the temp allocator, and then all the I only have to do a tiny bit of patch up, in currently only in two places, where I use one place where I use a string in the data, and I also, yeah, it also clones the like lists of entity types and stuff. No, I don't have slice in here. Import core slice. Cannot slice array. Sad. Maybe I misunderstood something here. Curve. Huh. I didn't. Obviously didn't know about this. Can I? Clone. Can I slice array? Value is not addressable. Is it just because of this? Ah, yeah, okay. It couldn't. There wasn't a ampersand in front to make them referenceable, so it couldn't make a slice. It's a bit of a funny thing because I'm only using this slice over here, so I don't actually care about this addressability of it, but okay. Maybe now I can save. Let's see in the level, this one I call level space. As you see, it's not very spacey anymore, but oh, look, points. And if I clear it and hit save again, no points. Wait, click, 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 save. Points. Okay, excellent. It's making the silliest path here just to test things. Okay. Now we have the path there editable and just for a first little test. It's good. Now the question is, I'm just thinking here. Oops. How do I best name these? Okay, it's all. Okay, there's some problems here. This one doesn't check if I'm allowed to place. It always tries to place these points even when I'm not in edit path. Now it will do like this. Very good. I can leave that one. What I was looking here at was just like, okay, crashed. I have some. So question from the chat. This doesn't look like commas. No, this doesn't look like JSON with all the commas. So I think it was this one. Yeah, it's not. It's one of these JSON with modifier, and it seems like my the writer for it has a bug where it always ends as a new line, but that's because I did modifications to it. But anyways, Odin comes with a JSON like there's a JSON marshal and stuff. So you can run JSON marshal, and then it has some options, and then you can put in a specification, and the specification has these different ones. I use this sjson, which is equivalent to ye old Bitsquid. This is funny. This is actually in the Bitsquid is referring to an old game engine that I actually happened to work on so many years ago. This is in the core library. It is aliased as Bitsquid, which is funny. And sjson is a simplified JSON that omits, you don't have to have all the commas, and you don't have to have, I think you can also do like, I don't remember if, I've used this so much, so I don't remember if real JSON uses the colon or equals. But anyways, this is how it looks for me. So it's just a bit easier to edit without trouble. Yeah. And usually you don't need, you see, you don't need, I think in normal JSON also you would need to have like quotes on the, this doesn't need quotes. It's only if you have special characters in there you would need a quote or something. So you have to, your marshal needs to be aware that, so it doesn't write something that breaks the format. Oh la la la. Oh yeah, what was I doing? Yeah, it crashed for some reason. And I was like, huh? And there's some bug somewhere that made it crash. Okay, we saved that one. Now the question is, so I want my rocket to follow this curve here. I guess this is what people call a spline. I think I put the naming weirdly. I think I said curve to move entity along, but I think games would refer to this as a spline. I'll change the name after the stream. Okay, my only problem now is that I need to reference this curve somehow. I haven't done a whole lot of this yet. I have these named positions. Whoop, it was an edit path. I need to add so I can. I need to add so that I can remove points from it. But anyways, this one, these positions you can name. And then they appear in a long list. So I think I'm gonna just name the curves too. Or something. This is sort of, you know, the classic problem with you have an editor and then you have you're trying to be a bit more authoritative in your scripting rather than in rather than having the edit. So I'm trying to have my editor mostly be very descriptive. It doesn't do too much logic, so I can focus on logic in the code. This comes with the problem sometimes that you like referring to things. Well, okay, that's not really a problem with if you're trying to have logic or not in the editor, but referring to things that are spawned in the editor from things that live almost purely in code can be a bit problematic. I guess there's several different ways to do this. I could have like on the rocket here, I could I guess have like a spline to follow reference, and then I have a reference to another entity. And yeah, that might be the best solution. Maybe I'll try to do that someday, so have some kind of because I don't have a way to reference on one thing other things in the level yet. I mostly have, like with these things, I have a name here. So this is like landing spot. This one is called. So I'll just add a name for now to the curve. But I will think about that because I will see more and more of these kind of things that need names and need references. Anyways, curve. So let's give it a name. There we go. Now it has a name, and we just need to go to the properties, edit properties. Here we have some other things that have a name already. Can steal from the name position. We can steal name code. Put it at top here. New name. I think that might just compile because it's the same variable names. I was thinking, why did that crash? It crashed probably because the memory layout of the curve changed, but it couldn't detect it really. Having a bunch of crashes today. Anyways, here we have a name. Serialize state. Serialized entity curve, data curve, blah, blah, blah. Here it needs a name. This is the serialized state that's saved out of disk. So here we need to do like name is strings.clone v.name. Oh. And then in deserialized state, we need to do something also. Oh yeah, then you need to go into this one where it creates the entity. Let's do like this. We say C is a curve. And then at the bottom here we say e.variant equals C. And then we go through the data of the curve, serialized entity data curve. Which function is this? Oh, it's create entity. Yeah. Create entity is sort of the one that's responsible for just creating the struct for entity. And of course then for these built-in types that live mostly in code, I have to do some custom stuff. Dun 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 dun. So we want to clone out the name. And then we want to say that. Then we also want the. I just feel like didn't I already do something like this? In like source state points. Okay, this is the function that serializes state. Now, this is the function that, okay, deserialize state just runs create entity. I just had this feeling that I already wrote some code to this, but whatever. I guess I didn't. 4p in d.points, c.points. Yeah, didn't I? Strange. What I did is just now. This one might run out of bounds, but I'll fix that later. Now I can say hey, click save, reset the whole game, go here, click it, and it still says hey. That's good. So now it's named. I named my spline. Edit path. Let's click these out again. Stop editing the path, and we call this spaceship landing. Save it. We go to level space. Yeah, and there it is saved. And now we just need to do a funny little thing. Now we just need to make sure we can find these curves somehow, the named curves. Where do I do that? Named position. Where do I populate named positions already? Okay. Spawn world from source state. Okay, here. So let's just do this. Named curves equals so it take for if you have a curve, it says that named curves in the world is this entity. So then we go to the world and we just add that little field. Named curves is a map of string to entity handle. Well, that was apparently an entity. It was apparently an entity. Okay. So now we should have, when we... Now the only problem is we might have an ordering issue here. I realize. Spawn world from source state. Nah, we won't have that. We will just do like this. We will go to update, rocket update. We will go to, and this thingamadoodle has a state called leaving planet, which is the when it comes like this. So here I want to fetch the curve and go along it. So this will be some funny code here to do. I mean, when you go along a curve, you usually assume that you have something like the time 0 is here and 1 is over here, I guess, and then you can scale the time you put in. So it's like you just go along it in a with a normalized time thingy. So all this code currently, you see all this crap, is the current landing, this current funny thing. So this is why I wanted to make the curves, because this might have been good to show before, but I essentially just hard-coded lots of crap to make the sequence, and it did work for a while, but then I broke it again, and I haven't, because I changed something. So now it's like this, and it doesn't even spawn the cat currently. I think that's just because of this line. But I'll add that in a bit. Okay. What's the easiest way to do this? I think the easiest way is to comment out all this crap and say if landing, what did I even call it? Spaceship landing. If landing spline okay is gmem dot see world dot name the curves. Why do I? Is it as what is? The question is, what is a spline? Is a special function defined piecewise by polynomials in interpolating problems. Spline interpolation is okay. I guess it's a kind of general word then. And is then curve is a bit too generic. That's the problem. But anyways, yeah, I probably need to rename a lot of things here. I'll do that later. I just want to get this working now. Name the curves. Landing. No, whatever I call it. Spaceship landing. You see, this is the problem. So now I have strings here, which is not so good. So that's why I want to change this to references a bit later, maybe. But whatever. And then, see here. Rocket. The rocket status currently use an enum, so I have to landing progress float 32. Just put that there for now. Okay, landing progress plus equals frame time. So currently we'll do everything in 1 second. I can, of course, divide this by something like this. And then the big question is, how do I do this? I need to know where on the... I need to know where on this I am. And does that mean, it should go the same speed all the time? So if you have 2 points very close to each other, then it doesn't go faster between those two, really. What is the best way to do this? I guess I can go through all of them, calculate the total distance between them. And then I map this value between 0 and 1 to, which is my progress. So 0 here and 1 here. I map that onto the total distance, and then I again run along them and fetch the point. I'll try that. For P, did you do total? This is for 0 for P in S dot P in the X in S dot points. Wait. Yeah. P is the spaceship object here. So I get my index of the current point along here. Well, I just get the index and then I check if p idx is bigger than 0, then I say p.curve p idx minus p dot curve pidx minus 1 diff. Oh. And then I say total this linear dot length diff. That should work. Kinda. Well, what is this nonsense? Num points. Ah, okay, I see now. It's supposed to be s dot num points. S is the curve I fetched by name here. S dot points. S dot points. And then we have p dot landing progress is to be. And then we have oh, it's an entity handle. Okay, let's do this. Let's say like this. Get curve. I'm gonna call him Spline, and then I'm gonna get named Spline. Rock. Name string. And this one returns a curve and a bool. The bool is if it actually found it. And first we fetch the thing. With the name. And then now we have a spline entity. Then we say if we just call it e if spline entity equals comma okay is get entity. This one should be entity inst curve. So that means it's a entity inst here is a struct that has the entity and its variation like this using the using keyword. So I can access everything inside entity and everything inside the variation using one thing. So I can pass that around for type safety and whatever. Because otherwise it's a bit problematic sometimes when you just have your variations of the entity as a union on top of it, because you need to go in and check it's hard to pass specific entities of specific kinds around otherwise. So we get the entity and we expect a curve. And if this happens, then we just say spline entity and true. Otherwise down here we say return false. And yeah. So here instead I will say now get named spline spaceship landing. They're compiled. So then I've calculated the total distance along this thing. Like I said, I will try to do this like a smooth, some kind of mathy thing later, but for now it will be just a simple thingy. Okay, and then we check I was thinking when I should leave the state, I guess. If the landing progress is greater than 1, then we say p.state equals .standby. Standby is just the default state of the rocket. It just sits there and doesn't do anything really. What do I need to do now? So now I know how far along this. No, I know how long this is. I need to do this. Curve dist is p dot landing progress times total distance, because there's a number between 0 and 1, so 1 will be I'm at the end, sort of. And then I will run through these again, and I will check if, and then I just need to sort of add up the distance constantly until I find something that's in between these 2 points, and then I know where I am on it. Here's a little bug. Total this when this we can actually just do like this. Current distance minus equals. So then when the current distance is 0 or less, then I'm done. Wait a minute. So I need to check. No, I have to be a bit smart here, I think. This is some kind of thing to just count how long I've gone along this. And I will just do this. I will add however long I went along it. I wonder if it's better to look ahead instead of looking backwards. In this case, I think I need that. So if GIDX is less than s.num points minus 1, because I can't look ahead at the last one. Wait. Yeah, like that. Then I can say that from s.points p.idx, and then we look from the current one to the next one. How far is that? And then we say if dist act plus, yeah, if dist, if this, so if the accumulated distance along this thingy plus the distance that between the, like, so say I'm here, say my current position on along this is supposed to be here, then I check if I will overshoot that distance by adding this new crap to it. If this is bigger than curdist, bigger or equals is okay, I guess. Then we do something else, we do something else. So in this case, we just continue on, go to the next one. But in this case, we know we are done. We just need to... How do I know we're on the line? So I know... I think I need to do like this. So current distance is where I expect the point to end up, right? So I need to do like remaining is, I know that this is probably 0 or bigger. So that's how far. And that should give me, like, if it was here, then this, it has already accumulated this distance. Then I say, okay, from this remove, like say my expected position is here. I've traveled this far along the spline. Then I'm here and I've already accumulated this much, and then I just need to know how long is this. And then I just need the vector from here to here and multiply that by that distance. Yes, so we diff norm is normalize diff linear dot normalize diff, and then we say p dot pos, hacking this in here now, diff norm times remaining. Maybe that works, who knows. Yeah. Actually in Odin it's better to do like this. Instead of saying it equal to 0, we just say it's an F32 since it's auto initialized to that anyways. Oh wait, there's a few things I need to do here. First off, I'm just gonna reset the camera zoom because currently it expects me to animate the camera zoom. I'm just gonna reset that to the default so we see what's happening here. And then it seems to be going a bit quasi. See why that is. It's just going like this. Let's try to figure out why. Let's remove that divided by 4 for now. Just to after 1 second it finishes, but it obviously doesn't work. So the landing progress times the total distance. The total distance is the difference between the spots. Maybe we make both these into looking ahead instead, just to make it the samey. Okay. It never starts at the... No, but that should be fine. It should... kind of fine. It should... The first thing that happens should snap to the... Wait. This is wrong. It needs to be like... s dot points p idx plus the remaining stuff. See. Okay, still doesn't work. I'm just gonna make sure my points are in order. Reset it. Yeah, there's a bunch of points in there. And the num points are all okay. It's 8, that's good. So I'm going from this one to this one, and that's the difference. And then I and then I say if distance accumulator I'm gonna go on a quick break. Be right back. Let's see here. Now I have bubbly water. Okay, so what is wrong here? Grrr, dunk. It goes. I'm just gonna do like this to make sure I end up at the correct starting position. Start points. Null. Well, okay, what if it has no points? Then we just do like this. Dot num points 0 p dot state equals standby. Otherwise we do all this. Ah, now I hit the button in Sublime that help. How do I uncrap this? I never. The only time this happens is by accident, and I never remember what. It's some kind of code folding. Here you go. There we go. I'm gonna check what button that is. Code folding. Okay, it's when I somehow press Control Shift and the bracket. So I guess it's this. Oh, didn't crap. Oh well. Oh well. Down to here. Do this. That's weird. That is weird. Oh wait. It never breaks out when I... Maybe it's just this. Ah, cat. Haha. And then it does a funny thing at the end. But now, yeah, now it follows it during 1 second. Okay. So there's a few things here. It needs to... Wait, I'm gonna look at the spline. Yeah, so it should not go back like that, but that's just... I think there needs to be like a... If... No, maybe I don't need this else thing here. So I'm gonna check look again. Yeah, it gets all the way down there. Ah, and then it starts flying towards... Origin, maybe. Where is the origin? No one knows. Maybe it's just something like this. If remaining is bigger than 0, can that really happen? No. So remaining and diff is okay, so diff is from my point to the next, and then hello Ginger Bill. So I'm just trying to figure out why does it comes here and then flies back towards this direction. So that's interesting. I might have made this all too complicated, of course, but that's always how it is with me in programming. I sit and do something too complicated, and at the end I realize how to do it 10 times easier. But anyways, so we get to this, we run through all the num points and we check, okay, diff is from the current one to the next one we're looking at, and we check the distance, and if the accumulated distance, shouldn't this one also do something like this, change the state so the thingy doesn't, oh wait, no it shouldn't, because then it they should only change the state when we're actually done, when the progress is 1 or more. I think it might be something easy like this actually, I realize. If the landing progress, if this thingy is more or equals to 1, yeah, this is then we go down here and we say that p.pos equals s dot point pi, or the last one of the points. Can I do like this? Something maybe? No, yeah, there's a slice dot left, but I don't think it will work on the, yeah, whatever. P dot points, because I know this is less than 0. S, I mean. S dot points, S dot num points minus 1. So now I take, when I'm done, I make sure to actually put it at the end position. I think that doesn't work. Is it? Huh. Fascinating. I'll try to print when I'm in here. I will say remaining. We'll say here. Oh yeah, that's the see how this one looks. It just goes up and up and up. Interesting. It seems to. So now I'm just printing the how long distance is remaining until It's done. I'm gonna do something silly here. Game init. I will just print here so I can't see when the game starts really. Like I don't know which of these are old stuff and not. Game init. There we go. Now I can actually look at this data. Know for sure what I'm looking at. There's the game init. Okay. Okay, I get what's happening here. So this will happen. It will accumulate a distance along the thing. So I think I've confused myself a bit here. So what it's trying to do here is to run along this, right? So let's look at the code here. I run a number between 0 and 1, and it starts like this. And then for each frame, it runs through all this code. And then it checks, okay, from this point to that point, we have this vector. And we check how long that is. And then we check if the accumulated distance currently plus the difference is bigger than where we expect to be. Then we just calculate, okay, how much remains. We get a normalized vector out of this thing. And then we set our position to the, like, if, for example, if we're here, we set this to this plus whatever. I need to go like plus this vector here. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. I'm just gonna quickly also look at that level. Check if all the that looks correct. 8.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I should do? I should make a new path. Save this, clear it, make a new path, which is 2 points. You see, yeah, now we have something simpler to work with. Now it's easier to think about it. So we go through all the points and then we check if this looks a bit weird to me. Okay, this one I'm gonna take out of here because that was just a hack I put into test stuff. I'm gonna move that hack to another hacky place. I'm gonna say here. Nah, it's fine. I don't need that one. It just might be wrong one frame. I just did that to make sure it was always in the correct position, even for the first frame, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Wait, is it just that it calculates the distance wrong? Okay, that was it. It was an off by 1 error. I think I even said now there will be off by 1 errors. I think this one should also, yeah. Good. And now I hope that I can go here, clear this, edit the path, save, whoa, boop, yeah. Excellent. Let's make a slightly more interesting path. Like that. And now we can, of course, do something like this. We can scale the time we feed the thing. So it goes like this. And then I had lots of other code for like scaling up the camera zoom and stuff. So let's add some of that stuff back too. Yeah, this is, so it used to go very slow in the beginning and then it sped up. And that's of course question like how do you, if you make something like this, is there anything along this spline to control the speed of the thing? Or is it, do I do that from code? So I still do some things from code. I will just, for starters, I will just do it from code. It's so weird that I do this addition of the landing progress in the middle. Right. Now, I will just add some of those cute things. So in the, yeah, so we have this speed multiplier is like something like this. It's 1 in the beginning. But then we say if p dot time in state is less than, what is it? 4. Then speed mult is like 1/16. And then we use that here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need some cool stuff to do the speeds as well along the thing. Doesn't matter if I do like this. Yeah, it was. Yeah, this of course is not gonna hold up, I feel. What's with the zoom? This is the old zoom I used. What did my old code do? My old code used to set the camera zoom by lerping using this thing with the time in state. Trying to figure out what what I need to do to make this nice. I think I might need to have like on each control point here I have a speed setting, how fast it goes along it, so then I can tweak inside editor like, oh, here it's slow, and then it comes here, and then I can have a setting that's like, oh, does it go smoothly between these speeds, so it speeds up, like if there's a change between this point and that point, then it sort of speeds up. Hmm. Oh wait, maybe it's doing a camera update manually, so it's overriding my zoom I put in. No? So okay, I'm supposed let's see. Ah, there we go. It was just the scale of the thing. Yeah. And then the rotation. Maybe so this is what I talked about earlier as well. I can't just use the rotation of the tangent of the spline, because this thing sort of wants to go along this, but then it wants to point like here, it goes along here, it wants to follow maybe the tangent, but then sort of it wants to rotate up a bit and sort of do a nice landing like that. So I need to do something there. But one thing at a time. I'm thinking that, how does this look? Do I need it to be like a smooth Bezier thingy? Yeah, probably. And then it goes super fast suddenly. No, wait. 2. 1/6. This is very silly. Okay. And then I will do something with the rotation for now. I need to focus a bit. So I'm just gonna add a little rotation to it, so it rotates up at some point. This used to be done at a nice time. Doesn't matter. P.time in state is bigger than. Actually, I don't think I need this. I think I can do like this. Oh yeah, then it needs to actually. No? Oh, there we go. Interesting. Ah. Yeah, so I added this thingy that rotates it. It's just this code here. This is hardwired right now, but it's like 54 is the initial rotation, and then it remaps the time in state from 5.5 to 8 seconds, and then it subtracts from this a value between 0 and 54. Excellent. I want to do some more fun things here. When it's done, it should. Let's copy all this. This was all the crap I did before when it was done. There is some stuff to be done here. So essentially want to we need to make sure the cat appears. And I think what I do then is just that I say cat is spawn entity. Wait, what is get entity type. It's called get built-in type, I think. Get built-in type. Yes. Then I can say like this. I want to spawn gmem.sourceState, and I want it to be the player cat. Wait, what's this? Yeah, cat is called .cat. So we say if cat type comma OK is equals to this and OK is true, then we spawn this funny thing here, and we say cat type, and then we also add this entity that we spawned, cat, like that. And then we say next controlled entity is, do it like this. I think add entity returns the handle. This is just a handle to the next entity. Then we have all this crap. p.cat inside, false velocity. Yeah. It's called create entity. Change these things around a bit. Let's see. Here it comes. Zoom. Flying. Rotating. Slowly landing. And if we're lucky. Bam! And there it spawned. This, of course, might have feels like it spawned a bit in the wrong place, but it didn't land in the correct place. I need to move the position up a bit because it places the middle in here, so it's a bit finicky. Yeah, I should have some way to edit the. Currently, I can't move the position. I'll do that soon. I'll do that now. I was just like, but I want it to look nice. And then I want to move it, and I don't want to reset. It's just properties, editor properties. Okay. So we're editing a curve, and then there are points in the curve. Then we need to move points somehow. And we also want possibility to remove. But let's start with moving points, because that's the important thing for me right now. Edit. Editor properties. Nej. Jo. Edit mode properties. Okay. This is a bit hacky here, because I have this edit mode entity properties, and this kind of the general one, and then I've started hacking in like curve specific things here. So I think it needs to be like this thing should know that, oh, I'm editing a curve, and then it has its specific things there. But I'm just gonna do this here for now. So we need to know moving curve line pos as an integer, as an index to spline point, and then yeah, I think that's all I need right now. So then this thing, this is annoying because index 0, there is of course a spline point at index 0. So I need to either initialize the -1 or something else. Or maybe I just do this, moving as you say like this, moving spline point bool. So then you can check this bool. Okay. So then we do like this, if m.moving spline point else, and this crap ends up in here. But now we need to check like this. Spline point under cursor is -1, and we do for p in v dot in v0 to v dot num point. So we're gonna loop over all the points in this list of points, and then we are gonna construct a little rectangle around it so we can check if we're actually inside that one, and then we will say that, and then we can make sure that, so I want to be able to click and drag this thing and move it. That's essentially what I'm trying to do here. So we make a rectangle where x is p dot x minus 1, y is p dot y minus 1, width is 2, height is 2, and then we say this is mouse in rect. So this one is in screen space. This is in this is in world space, but the mouse in rect checks screen space. I know what I should do. Screen PS. It's rl.world to get world to screen 2D. What do you take? You take a position and a camera. That's fine. And then we just use that instead. Yeah, now we're on the screen. Then we can say mouse if mouse in rect r. We say oh yeah, this is p is v dot points p I d. Yeah, do like that for now. Spline point on the cursor is PIDX. Okay. Actually, I can do this. Okay, so we're not moving a spline point. In that case, we check the edited lock. Yeah, this is okay. So I am editing the path. This button is pushed in. And my mouse is inside this area here. And then I loop over all my points to figure out, is there anyone under my cursor? And then I check if point on the cursor is not -1. Let's say do this. And then I check. Maybe I can do like this. Dun, dun, dun. Oops. So this is the standard case where I'm not hovering anything, and then I just put that out there. But if I am hovering one of the ODX's points, and I say am moving spline point equals true, and am moving spline point index is spline point under cursor. Right. So, and then I will next frame end up in this case. And then I will check if mouse button, what's it called? Released, left. Then moving spline point is false. And v dot points and moving spline, m dot moving spline point index should be the current world position of the mouse. Actually, it should always be that. And when I release the mouse, it says it to false. That might actually be it. That, oh, my memory layout changed somehow. Oh, this was that it did a reset. Anyways, let's never mind that. Oh yeah, edit path. Didn't work. I can still add new ones. Spline point under cursor. I think 1 should be enough in world space because that's pretty big. Then I'm moving the spline point and I say that the index is this, and I keep it tied to the cursor. Ah, wait. No. What is the problem? Ah, now it works. And then I went over 16 points there, which I hard coded in. Wait a minute. World to screen. Of course, these numbers are in screen space now. I was completely stupid there. Do I have a world rect? Whatever. The problem here is that these numbers are not in. I was thinking of them as in world space, but actually in screen space since the conversion is up here. We are gonna do this. Mouse in rect. We're gonna say like this. Mouse in world rect. Haha. R rect. And then we also need a camera. RL dot camera 2D. We take this thing. We say RL dot get screen to. I don't know. I never used that one. Screen to world 2D. Yes. So I take my mouse position and the camera, and I check if that is inside the rect. And then I can, because then I can make nice then I can make nice world space rect, and you say, is the mouse inside this world space rect? And everything works. And the Raylib coordinate system here is that X goes as you think, but it's sort of like with UI that Y goes downwards. Wait. So it should be -1 here. It's right. +1 is below. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course it's correct. Camera. And then this one is no longer needed. Jaha. It is not returning anything. Jaha. Give me the other level. There we go. Oh, edit path. Aha. 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 Ooh. And I can say click. Yeah. I'm leaking some memory. I see in my console there. I will look at that soon. What I wanted to do was just to move this guy up like this much maybe. Save, reset. We'll look at those memory leaks. Should have a button to increase my frame, to increase the time scale of the game, so I can quickly test these things. Testing cutscenes is pretty good. It's actually exactly where I wanted it to be. Okay, that's good. Let's look at the whole sequence from the start, maybe. So here's my rocket. The rocket is of course not going to be here in the game later, but this is just my test for going between these places. Look at the whole sequence. Pew! Flies away. And it tilts. Goes green. Here I'm thinking that is sort of... It's a bit hard with faking 3D camera movements in 2D, but I was thinking you see the ground beneath you somehow. Then it comes out. And what happens here is actually when everything is totally green, I change the level to the other one, and then I start that one in the sequence and bring it down. And then of course it's gonna sit here for a tiny bit at the end, and then let the engine cut out and stuff. Okay. That's good. I still haven't done I promised some kind of Bezier, I don't know what to call it, some kind of using cool maths for the spline. We'll see about that. Now I want to add so I can right click them to remove them. Okay, so let's do this. If rl.is mouse button press.right. If, and then we do also if spline point under cursor, the cursor is not -1. Okay, so here now we're gonna remove this one. I'm getting a bit tired of that this point is not a dynamic array. Maybe I'm gonna fix that first actually. Curve. Okay, I'm gonna do a few things here. I'm gonna start with committing some of this to my little repository. Spline first whip. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna rename curve to spline. Fix all those. Spline. Blah blah blah. Spline. I can't spell anymore. Spline. Okay. Spline. Because first I call it curve, but it's a very weird general word to me. Usually in game, I don't know exact mathsy idea behind the word spline, but it at least to game devs it sort of means usually something you move something along. But I think it has something to do with it's some kind of, I looked up it right here. Spline is a function defined piecewise by polynomials. So it's like polynomials that say how it moves along it. So I think my thing is a spline, but my polynomials are just linear things. It just goes. How can I have ended up with the word curve in so many places already? Spline. Okay, and then there was more. Yes, it is this enum here. Good, and we can go to serialized state. We have something called serialized entity data spline here. Let's change that one. This one. This one. And this one. Okay. I think maybe in the level spice. Yeah, so this is sort of like when I change names of types that are serialized, this field will no longer work properly. So I need to change that manually. Like that. Yeah, in world we have named curves. Should be named splines. I think I know what the memory leak is now also. It's that I don't delete world.named splines. And then we need to, okay, there. Can rename this file curve.png to spline, which of course currently is a C for spline. But and then we go to, I think that's it. Yeah, the only thing here, this is a bit of a messy thing, that the name, the UID for it currently is curve. I should write a tool or something to rename these things, because what it does here is it makes, these are like blessed UIDs for me, and if I want to change this for some reason, then I must update wherever it's used in the data. And in the data it's just these numbers, because it just saves the generated UID from the name. So I should maybe make a tool that takes an old name and a new name and replace them in the data. I can do that later. I'll leave it like that for now. Okay, everything is still working, I hope. Whee! Yeah. Everything is still working. Okay, so now, yeah, curve to spline. Wait, that's a mistake. Missing spline. Righty-doo-dah. Okay, now I can get back to what I was doing. Something did break. Maybe if I restart it, because maybe the entity types. I go to the second level. Still not here. Okay. Let's figure out what's wrong. Spline.png. Spline.png. That's correct. So then we go to what's it called? Because the spline I already replaced broke now. Create entity. Maybe it's something here. Because this one, serialized entity data spline. Yeah, that's correct, I think. Serialized data spline. Yeah, that's correct. So something else is wrong. The type ID hasn't changed. That's what I made sure. Because I built in name. What's it called? It's like curve. Oh, it's in the editor. Curve. No, it's in source state. Here it is. This thing. Why? And I can just recreate it. I'm just curious why this broke. Because this type name comes from this. I haven't changed this. I just changed the name of the enum. And then I manually updated the variant to serialized entity data spline. That's all the migration I needed to do of that. Because the entity is gone. Okay, maybe it's in deserialized. Maybe it's in deserialized state. Maybe it does something silly. See here. Here is the spline. Yeah. Okay, but it doesn't even show the graphics here. Why is that? Yeah, I should show this thing. Load texture spline. Oh, I know, I think. Yeah, so it did work all the time. It was just I have to change this somehow. So it currently there's this funny function to that's just used only for the editor to like how does something look in as a placeholder. So when you play the game, things look one way, but then you want something like okay, but you want to define like what's the kind of icon for this thing. And for many things it's sort of the first frame of the animation, but for other things it's other things. Okay, back to this. I wanted to make it so I can remove points here. So I have a spline point under the cursor. Oh yeah, there was another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to stop having a I want to have a dynamic array instead. There. I wanted to have a dynamic array on the spline on this thing. Actually, it doesn't need to be a dynamic. Let's see here. Source state. So I separated most of my game into a source state and a world. The source state is what the editor is working on. However, it's still working using normal entities. And sort of in the editor, within the editor, that's sort of where you would expect there to be like dynamic lists everywhere so you can do all your funny things. However, the spline that's loaded into the world doesn't really need to have a dynamic list of points. But yeah, I'm just gonna do that because I'm a bit lazy. So this is the function that serializes the state. So this one will steal a copy of the whole list. And then we can do this for p in c dot points. Ugh. PID X is good to have also. Wait, there was another thing there. Like that. And then we want to clear points. And then We want to for p v dot point. Wait, can I go back to that? Wait, the editor. That's good. Okay, this is good too. Okay, now we just use append v dot points. We append the mouse world position. If length of s dot points is 0, then something is wrong, but that's fine. If p comma pidx in s dot points len s dot points. So now we just check that we're not at the last one. If we're not at the last one, then we can look ahead once, get the difference out. So then we can just do this. In this case, it's almost nicer to just only use the index, because now it's a mixture. Like, oh, there's a p here, and then there's a +1. Like some of it uses the index, indexes this directly, and some of it uses the loop variable. But whatever. For p pidx in s dot points len s dot points. This one needs, wait, aha. So p here is actually the rocket, while this p is the, there's two problems here. The rocket shouldn't be named p, because that's from when I refer to this as a type of player. The rocket is no longer controllable. The rocket is an NPC that you hitch a ride with. But I will just have to call this point instead. What I'm doing here is I'm just trying to make it so that, no, this is, I'm just trying to make it so we have a dynamic array of points, so I can add as many as I want, and then I want also use that to remove the points from the dynamic array when I press the right mouse button. Length of s dot points -1. Isn't there like a last slice dot last? Don't mind if I do. And then here we can instead now run d dot points equals slice. I think there's a clone to dynamic. Yes, clone to dynamic. Wait, what am I doing? C dot points is D dot points. This transfers the data out of the sort of data model into the game. I need to reset this to make it, yes. Still move these maybe. If I click edit path, yes. And then we go to the editor. Okay, so now I know I have one under, and then I can do ordered remove, I think. because the order here is important. So I do ordered remove v dot points spline point under cursor C. Ha! Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Click, click, click. It's pretty fancy. The only thing I can't do is add points. Like, you could also add so you can click on the line and it adds a point. But then you need to project the mouse cursor. You need to get an equation for this line somehow, project the mouse position down to it and stuff. But I'll do that one when I feel like it. I don't want to lose my nice spline I so much like. Excellent. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Good. Good. Git commit possible to remove spline points and yeah. Now the annoying problem here is that I made on spline I made it into a dynamic array, so I must delete this one somewhere. I don't think remove entity. I think I know what to do actually. No, I don't. Or do I? So it's nice if there's like only one entity in the only one list in the game, and that's sort of owned by. This is what's on disk. I can't, of course, edit this. But that's not what I want to edit either. Source state has a list of entities. And when it so it creates an entity. Yeah. Spawn world from source state. Yeah. I'm gonna have to think a wee bit about this. How to. So the main problem here is that right now on my spline, I have a dynamic list of points, and I don't have anywhere where I deallocate stuff for each entity yet, which is, it's nice if all the sort of separately allocated data comes from this sort of source state. So there are entities living in here, and those have their own copies, and they know how to destroy that data. So here, for example, there should be a case spline, and this one should do delete v.name, and it should do delete v.points, right? So this source state knows about all the dynamically allocated data, but this one doesn't. So maybe actually it's fine. Wait a minute. This one clones. This is serialized data. So spawn create entity. Clones to a dynamic list the points. And then, yeah, I think it actually works for now. The problem is if I dynamically create entities, then that do not live in the source state. I do it during runtime. Like, it's dynamically allocated data that doesn't necessarily is associated with anything that's loaded from disk, then I might still have problems. But we'll see what happens now if I shut this down. It reports memory leaks when I shut it down. So I'm just trying to see here if there's anything like that. Hello, fill switch. We shut it down. No, it's fine. I need to think a bit more about this because, yeah, like I said, this is not very. I allocate when I create entities. I tend to allocate some data, and sometimes that data is good to have per entity instance, and sometimes it will be better to just refer to whatever that came from the editor. But yeah, let's do something more fun now for a bit. I'm just gonna, I guess I have some memory cleanup. La 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 la. So I have this funny thing here. I saw that Raylib actually has a function to draw a Bezier curve. Let's see how that looks. It of course might not help me evaluate it, but draw line Bezier. So what does this function do? Because usually when you have like a Bezier curve, you need to know like, oh, it's these two lines plus this control pos. What happens if you just use this? I'm not the best at these things. I'm gonna hack it in here for now. See? What is this function supposed to do? Draw a line using cubic Bezier curves in out. You know what? This is problem. I probably changed the wrong function. Yes. Draw a world. Blah 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 blah. Here, no, this one. See how this looks. I need a thickness also. All right, I see. So this is the type. It's very thick. Is it 1 unit in? Yeah, whatever. You see how this line goes like, it always wants to flatten out here. So I think, you know, I need something. Usually when you have a curve like this, you have like you put out points and then you put out an extra thing that says like what are the tangents when you come in and out of this point. Yeah. Phil Switch says that they are new to Odin game dev. Yeah, it's a, how can you say, it's a very nice language to make games in, because it's powerful enough but simple enough, since you need to, you don't get lost in silly language things. You get a lot done, but it's has a lot of powerful things. It's sort of like programming in C almost, but it has all the things that you missed that made it slightly more nice to use. Yeah, line Bezier quad is what I'm looking for. I think so too. Then I need to have control positions, which I don't have, I think. Because I think this one, I assume I will need like a extra point then somehow. But I'm not the best at these things, so I don't really know. Because if I do this, and then I just do something silly like send in the end point as the, yeah, then it becomes totally straight. And if I do like, I'm just trying some things here. I take the sort of control point slightly to the side. Oops. Yeah. Ah, well. Let's Google a bit. Yeah, right, exactly. So you have the points you want to go between, and then you have 1 point extra per those to say where is what is the sort of tangent coming out of that point, I guess, something like that. Yeah, I'm the best at these things. But I guess what I need is extra points, like a separate list of, like a associated with each point I have a control point. This one, draw Bezier cubic. This one has a control pos for coming in and one for coming, one for going out. It's the one for the start pos and the for the end pos. Yeah, so now for this line, it says that the control point, what happens if I do something like put it in between them? How does that look? Then I get a straight line. Then it's here. Then no, it will bow up a bit like that, yeah. So now I put all the points like slightly above. I'm just experimenting a bit to see sort of. I guess what you need to do here is actually to have some math that changes the control point. Like if you want a perfectly smooth continuous line, you need to, if you change this control point, then the other one needs to also change so that it you don't get these broken sort of tangents everywhere. Oh well. I think I need to end it for today and go eat food, and I think about my lines another time. But at least I got sort of what I want working. I of course didn't make them like Bezier fancy, but I need to eat something. So that has to be another day. But it's, it's the hard things with these things is usually the editor stuff. And I can go in here and add like extra things for managing the control points for each one of these. I can maybe add some selection state for each one, and then I can have like some tangent I can move and calculate some control point things and feed into the Bezier function and whatever. But just getting to this state where you have something that where you can do like stuff like this is quite nice actually. Because yeah, as usual, I think tooling is what takes a lot of the time. Phil Switch says maybe you can treat every other point as a control point. Yeah, I think I did. I remember I did an implementation of a Bezier curve many years ago, and then I think that was the sort of quick way I got it working. And then you must have like an odd number, I think, of points. So you must always have something in between. You could also have a like an imaginary, like a point that you see sitting in between each here that you can move around. But we can quickly try that just to see. I think so. What happens here is I don't have any code for evaluating a fancy curve yet. I just have my linear curve that I made today, but that's so I don't have any code for like evaluating it, but Raylib has some code for drawing the thing. Anyways, renderable line. Let's try adding a new renderable thing. A renderable line Bezier quad. I'm just gonna try this. Start and control vector 2. Let's see what happens. Let's see, and then I will go and for today go eat, just experiment a bit here. Then we do like v.control, and then I remember this one wants a thickness. I think I can do like 1/gmin.camera. Let's say 1.2 for now. Then this one is the same. Then that one needs the same. And then up here, we render all the circles, but trying to think here what to, if I'm on an just gonna do something fun here. If PIDX modulo 2 equals 0, so if this is, it's not 0, I mean. This means I'm at an odd point. Then I take the previous and the next one. It's a bit messy, but and PIDX is less than length c.points minus 1, because I don't go outside here. Start is prev, end is next, control is P. See here now. So now it treats every other point as a control point. So I can move these around like this. Oops. As you see, I still get, I can, I still get sort of, so to speak, broken normals. I have to line these up myself. I think usually these kind of editors, they have like a mode where you say like, oh, I don't want to have broken normals. And then when you move one control point, I guess it has to influence the other one to keep them straight or something. So like maybe if I move this one, then this one should be like opposite at the exact opposite side, so I get like a nice continuous tangent through the point. But that's pretty, I mean, it's pretty fun. Thanks for the fun suggestion, Phil Switch. But yeah, it still needs some work somehow, and I need to write my own evaluator for this so I can because I can only draw these lines. I need to write some code to do the actual quadratic Bezier evaluation of it. And then I need to think a bit about how to actually represent the control points. Maybe I just do a list of points, and then it also maintains a like for each pair of points, it has for each line, it has a control point or something. I'm not sure. I will think about that. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today, I think. I'm gonna see here, git status. Yeah, I can just end with. So we started with no line editor, like spline editor at all, and at least we have something. At least we have something, some kind of linear editor for linear stuff, and some ideas for the Bezier stuff. But I need to think a bit about how to manage that properly. But yeah, so this little sequence actually does something now. And then I have other things, like I said, right now it rotates the thing, and there's no sort of event, like there's nothing special about the spline. So I have code that manually rotates the thing and does all the extra things, but maybe that's what I want. So yeah, that's sort of it for today. Got a lot done, so that's good. Now I need to go eat something. So you all have a nice time, and I'll see you during the next stream. And I will try to do, some demo streams and some dev streams, because I think people are interested in different things. Sometimes I tend to do like a demo first of new stuff, and then sit and develop new stuff. But I think some people are more interested in seeing just what had happened since last time, like a demo, and some people are more interested in seeing new development, or at least split them up like that is maybe a good idea. And yeah, but anyways, have a nice, I almost said evening, but it depends on where you are. Have a nice time. Bye bye.